Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, my name is Shubhi Jain and I upload videos related to coding every day at 6:30 pm. Now in the series of sorting techniques, quick sort is the next sorting technique that we are going to see today. If you just want to see the key points of quicksort, you can just skip the video to the end and over there you will find all the key points listed. Also, if you have not seen my previous video related to partition algorithm, please go and first see that video because quicksort uses partition algorithm. So without the knowledge of partition algorithm, you won't be able to understand how quicksort works. So let's see how partition algorithm is used in quicksort and how it helps in sorting an array. So as we have already seen how partition algorithm works, now let's see what partition algorithm does to this array. Now over here the pivot, we'll take the pivot as 6. You can take it either as for the first element or any random number. So it will find the number which is less than 6 and will place this number in the first place. So what will happen here is, so it will see all these numbers, they are all greater than or equal to 6. So it will come to the number 3. Now 3 is smaller than 6, so it is going to just swap the two numbers. It will just place 3 in the first place and will move ahead. Now 6 is also again greater than, is not less than 6. Similarly for 8, 9, and now it comes to 1. Now 1 is less than 6, so it is going to place it in the first index and this number will come over here. So over here I have 1 and over here I will have 7. Similarly for 2, we are going to replace these two indexes. So over here I will have 2 and over here I have 7. And now as I have reached the last element, which is the pivot, we are going to swap these two indexes. Now since these two indexes are same, this will look like that these are same, but actually if I mark this as A and if I mark this as B, so once they get swapped, this is A and this is B. So from here we can conclude that quicksort is not a stable algorithm because the order of occurrence of the same number is not the same once the array is sorted. So over here we can easily conclude that quicksort is not a stable algorithm. So after my first pass of partition algorithm, the array is like this. Now over here I can see that this element is in the correct position because all the elements over here are less than this element and all the elements over here are either greater than or equal to this element. Now what I have to do is, once I have called the partition algorithm and I have got the index on which the number has been placed correctly, I am going to call the quicksort algorithm for the rest of the two arrays. This means that after making sure that this element is in the correct position, I am going to have another recursive call for this part of the array, for the first half and for the second half. So if I get my pivot as I, which is the I that at ith index the correct element has been placed, I am going to call another quicksort function which will first call from 0 to I minus 1, and the other quicksort recursive function is going to call from I plus 1 to length minus 1. So now let's see how the recursive tree for the quicksort will look like. Now over here, suppose my array was A and the starting index is 0 and over here the ending index is of 11. So the first call is for this. Now if suppose the pivot we get is 3, so the next call will be from A 0 to 2 and A 4 to 11. Now we are not including the index 3, as that is element is already sorted, so there is no need of calling any function for that particular index. Now suppose this sends me the index of 0. So over here, one call, we know that one call is for I minus 1. So if we have a call over here, it will be from 0 to minus 1, and over here we'll have it from A1 to 2. Now as soon as we reach here, we find that the end of the index is smaller than the starting. So this means that there is no need to do anything with this part, because this is not a valid index or a valid array. So we are just going to return simply. Now over here, if suppose the pivot which I get is 1, so we'll have one call from A1 to 0 and another call from A2 to 2. Now as it is not a valid array, so we are going to return it as it is. And over here we can see that there is only one element. So what we are going to do is we'll return simply, because an element is sorted in itself. So this will also return. And once these two parts are done, this means that this array is now sorted, and we are going to return over here. Now even these two parts are done. This means that my array indexes from 0 to 2 are also sorted, and we are going to simply return. Now a call for this part will be made. Now if suppose the pivot over here was 6, so a call will be made from A4 to 5, and another call will be for A7 to 11. Now if suppose over here the pivot was 4, so there will be a call from A4 to 3, and over here we'll have a call from A5 to 5. Now this is not a valid array, so we are going to return, and this is just a single element, so over here also we'll return. Now the elements from 4 to 5 are in a sorted order, so we are going to return. Now we come to this part. Now if suppose the pivot was 9, so we'll have a call from A7 8 and A10 11. Now supposing the pivot was 7, we'll have a call from A7 to 6 and A8 to 8. This is not a valid index, so it will return, and this is just a single element, even this will return. Now since this part has been solved, this will also return. Coming over here, let's assume that our pivot is 11. So over here we'll have a call from A10 to 10. And over here we'll have it from A12 to 11. So these two parts will return, as one is just a single element, and second, the indexes are not valid. Now if this is sorted, this will return. Now the elements from 7 to 11 are sorted, so it is going to return. Now the elements of 4 to 11 are sorted, so this will also return, and hence our array that is from indexes 0 to 11 is sorted, and we finally get a sorted array. Now over here we can see is that when we were making the tree for merge sort, the tree was somewhat balanced. Now what a balanced tree is? Now in a balanced tree, if I just make the calls as these nodes. Now in a balanced tree, the number of nodes on the left hand side and the right hand side of the tree are somewhat same. They are not exactly same, but they are somewhat same. And this is because in merge sort we were dividing the array into two equal halves. So the number of calls being made on either of the side was same. But over here, the number of calls, we can see over here that this side of the tree is smaller. We can see that, see, this is the first part of the tree, one side of the tree, and this is the another side of the tree. Now one side has very less number of calls and the other side has too many number of calls. So this is because of the pivot, that is the index that we have chosen. Now if our pivot always comes at the middle as the middle element, so the tree automatically gets divided in a way that our tree seems to be balanced. But what happens is there is no necessary condition that a pivot is chosen in such a way that always the middle element comes as the index. So this is the reason that the time complexity for quicksort is not n log n for every case. It is n log n only for the best case and average case. Now best case is that case when the pivot is always chosen as the middle element and our tree gets divided into two equal halves. Now what happens in worst case? Let's make a tree for the worst case. Now if suppose my array was from 0 to 5 and my pivot was chosen as 0. So what will happen? A call will be made first from a 0 to -1. Now this is not a valid call, it will simply return. Another call will be made from a 1 to 5. Now suppose the pivot over here is 1. We'll have a call from a 1 to 0. This is not a valid call, so it will return simply. The next call will be made from a 2 to 5. Now supposingly the pivot over here, the pivot we receive is the element 2. So the other call will be from a 2 to 1 and a 3 to 5. Now this is not a valid call, it will return. Now coming to this call, let's suppose the pivot is 3. A call will be made from 3 to 2. This is again not a valid call, so it will return, and a call will be made from a 4 to 5. Supposingly that our pivot is now 4. So over here a call will be made from a 4 to 3 and a 5 to 5. Now this is not a valid call, it will return. Now this is just a single element, even this will return. And since this part has been sorted, it will return, and even these will return because now everything is in sorted order. And now we reach at this stage. Now over here we can see that the total number of elements were only 6. And if my tree, and over here we can see that the total number of elements were only 6, but the recursive calls are made in a linear proportion. That is, the tree did not get the use of divide and conquer was not that successful because the tree is not at all balanced. But we can see that over here it is showing some linear properties, and this is because of the pivot chosen. Since the pivot was always the first element, so the recursive calls were made for the rest half of the array, which is the full length of the array except for one element, and hence the tree is of the height of the tree is of order of n. So over here we can conclude that in the worst case scenario, the height of the tree will be of order of n, and in the average case and the best case scenario, the height of the tree will be of order of log n, because it comes to be log n when the tree gets divided somewhat equally. Now a question comes is that when this tree gets divided like this, so whenever the input to our quicksort algorithm is a sorted array, we always get our element at the extreme ends, that is the pivot at the extreme ends, and in that scenario we get the height of the stack or the tree as of order of n. So over here we can say that the space required by our quicksort is of order of n for worst case scenario. Now let's implement quicksort. So I have already copied the algorithm for partition algorithm over here. Now I am going to make a function, a recursive function, which will return nothing. And it will take in 3 parameters. One is our array, one is the starting index, and one is the ending index. Now if my starting index is greater than equals to my ending index, we are going to return simply and nothing has to be done. Otherwise, I'll have to get my index from the partition algorithm. Now I'll make 2 recursive calls. One to the left side, that is from S, the starting, to index minus 1, and the other to the right side, which is from index plus 1 to end. So this is the small code for quicksort. Now I'll have an array and I'm going to place my numbers. And I'll call quicksort on the array. The starting is from 0 to array.length minus 1. And after sorting, in order to see the result, I will print my array elements. See, our array has been sorted. Now let's see some of the key points for quicksort algorithm. First of all, the quicksort algorithm is a comparison based sorting technique. Now a comparison based sorting technique is one in which we take 2 elements from the array, we compare their value, and accordingly we decide the sequence of these 2 elements. Secondly, the time complexity of quicksort for best and average case is of order of n log n, and for the worst case it is of n square. Now let's see how the time complexities are being calculated. First of all, our partition function or the partition algorithm always takes the order of n, and the quicksort function, as it is a recursive function, so the height of the tree will tell what is the complexity of this particular function. Now in average and best case, the height of the tree comes out to be log n, and in the worst case it comes to be of order of n. So the total, and in every recursive call we call our partition function. So in the best and average case we have n into log n, and for the worst case we have n into n, which is order of n square. So quicksort has order of n square for worst case and n log n for average and best case. Now coming to the space complexity, it is of order of log n, and it is an in-place algorithm. Now any algorithm taking space of order of log n or less than order of log n is said to be an in-place algorithm. Now you might have a question that when we have the worst case, the space required for all the recursive calls is of order of n. So how is it in-place algorithm, and how we are saying that it is of order of log n? Now what happens is we can clearly see that whenever we have the worst case, only one of the recursive calls are required. That means that both the recursive calls are not working and only one recursive call is of use. So one thing over here we can observe is that this becomes a tail recursive function. Now what a tail recursive function is, if after the recursive call no work has been done, the function is said to be a tail recursive function. Now, originally this function is not a tail recursive function, because after this particular recursive call, another recursive call has been made. So it is not a tail recursive function. But for the worst case scenario, as we know that only one of the recursive calls are useful, it becomes a tail recursive function. And a tail recursive function is easily be converted into an iterative function just by replacing the recursion part by the updation part. So what we are going to do is, we are going to convert it in a iterative function, and instead of the call, we are just going to update the value of my starting and ending index. So as over here the function does not remain as my recursive function, so no stack space is used, and the stack space is of order of 1, so it is still an in place algorithm. So we know that the partition function works in order of 1 space, so the total space complexity is of order of log n, and hence it is an in place algorithm. The next point is that it is not a stable sorting algorithm, as we have seen in the example before. We have seen that in merge sort, we were just blindly dividing our array into two halves, and then we were conquering the two halves of the array. But over here there is no blind division, but the partition algorithm makes a meaningful division at a particular index which is already sorted. So over here no combined step is required, as the division is meaningful. Lastly, it is a practically used algorithm. This means that quicksort is used in many practical examples, as it works for n log n, and you might have a point that it works for order of n square in worst case scenario, but it is only when the array which has been input is already sorted. And in real time or in practical usage, there is a very less probability of any sorted array being as the input to the sorting algorithm. So also, in order to improve this worst case time complexity of quicksort, which is of order of n square, what we can do is, we can design our partition algorithm in such a way that the probability of the index coming as the extreme end positions becomes very low. And this can be done by using a randomized method, in which a randomized method is the one in which we pick up any random element from the array, and then we try to place it in the correct position. So if we use such type of partition algorithm, then the worst case scenario will also become as n log n, and such kind of quicksort is known as randomized quicksort. These were all the key points for the quicksort algorithm, and this was all about quicksort. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. Also spread it across your friends if it might be of some help to them as well. Also, if you have any doubt, you can just leave a comment down below. And if you want me to solve any particular question or algorithm, just mention it in the comment section with hashtag #CodeMareQuestion. And thank you for staying till the end.